Right, there is lots to get through in this June 2025 update on these current account news and offers. Let's kick off with bank switching. I'll give you a quick roundup of the ones I've already covered elsewhere, plus another couple of new ones which you may not have heard about, but not everyone's going to be able to get them due to the eligibility criteria. So, Rana, what already exists? What do you know about? Well, there is that TSB offer. It is still running. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be going on for, worth up to £310 with potentially another 30 quid on top of that via cashback sites. Lots you have to do with that one. Quite convoluted, but potentially quite a lot of money you can get back from that one. We've got that Santander offer as well, which I just told you about just last week. £180 for that one. Now, it looks like, sadly, the extra £20 you could get via the cashback sites has disappeared. It's no longer showing on those sites. It could return, so it's worth having a look. But at the moment, it's just that £180 with Santander. More to tell you about with Santander in a moment. First Direct, that's still around that £175 offer. And that nationwide £200 offer for existing nationwide customers, not newbies, that's also available. If you want more details of all of those and the other ones I'm about to talk about in a moment, head over to becleverwithyourcash.com/banks. So what are these other ones that I have not mentioned before that I'm just going to touch on briefly because it's not going to be for everyone? The first one of these is from Danske Bank. You might be thinking, what is Danske Bank? This is a bank that is only in Northern Ireland. So if you live in Northern Ireland, you can get this. If you live elsewhere in the UK, sadly you can't. This is worth £100 for the switch and then up to £75 on top of that, basically 25 quid a month for 3 months. Quite similar to that cooperative bank switch that I've told you about previously. Again, if you can, existing customers can't get it, but newbies, brand new newbies can get it. The eligible accounts are the Choice, the Reward, or the Freedom accounts. Again, more details over on the site. And the other new one to share with you is from HSBC, but not for their normal account. This is for their Premier Banking account. So again, quite restrictive who can get this. You have to either earn £100,000 annually as a salary and have that paid into your HSBC Premier account, or have £100,000 in HSBC savings or investments. Now, if that does sound like you and you aren't already an HSBC customer, then if you open up a brand new Premier Banking account and switch into it, and you have to switch over your salary as well. So you have to go, if your current account you want to switch from, a dummy account, for example, doesn't have your salary into it, you're going to need to change that first of all. There's a bit of a pain, but you can get your HR department to do that. And hope that will come through by the next time this comes through. And you have to switch to direct debits. Do all that, you can get a £500 voucher to spend at Selfridges. So that's a pretty lucrative one. If you are eligible for the account, it's definitely something to consider. And of course, while we're talking about Premier Banking, you can still get that Barclays Premier Banking switch offer as well, which gets you 25,000 Avios points, worth about 119 quid if you switch those all over into Nectar points. Or obviously, you can use them for Avios if you wish. That's bank switching done for you for this month. There are a couple of other extra offers to tell you about as well. One of them is from Trading 212. Now, you know they offer cashback on their debit card, normally 0.5%. It has been increased. That's been increased for about the last month. Just after I did the last update, you can get 1% until the middle of July as standard. Hopefully that will be extended. It's been extended before at different times, so it's currently 1%. So if you already have the card and don't really use it much, maybe now's the time to actually give it a bit more of a whirl to get that full 1% on your spending. And you can also boost it further, although only until the 5th of July, if you auto invest the cashback that you earn. Now, obviously, with investing, you have to be aware of the risks that come with that. Your money will hopefully grow, but also it could lose some of its value. And that past performance is never an indication of what actually will happen in the future. But we're talking about very small amounts here if your cashback when it comes through. 1.5% of the money spent isn't going to be huge. So it might be a nice way to try out investing. It's worth reminding you as well that if you have never tried the Trading 212 card yet or had a Trading 212 account, you can get a free welcome share with them. There's a link over at becleverwithyourcash.com. Find it there and you apply. And your welcome share is worth between £8 and £100. You do have to go via that link to get that as well. Very quickly on your offers as well. Last month, Barclays did offer another blue carpet, which basically they show a movie from Apple TV in an everyman cinema. You get 2 tickets, you get 2 cocktails, you get 2 popcorns, you get a pizza to share. So that's free, right? Sounds good, okay? Sounds really good. That's the theory and least. Now, the problem is, this is only the 3rd time they've offered this since September. So it's not something you're going to be getting very often. And even if it do run it, the chance of you getting a ticket are incredibly slim. Only a handful of Everyman cinemas were taking part for this last one. That's been the same in previous ones. So let's say, I don't know, maybe there's 10, 12 different cinemas. Each of them may be quite small screens, maybe only 40, 50 seats in them. A few hundred people at most are going to get those tickets. And they do sell out very, very, very fast. And also, the film this time, I went along, Fountains of Youth. It was awful. I walked out halfway through. Although I got my pizza and my cocktails, that wasn't too bad. So I'm telling you about this because just in case you're thinking, oh, I want to get Blue Rewards or stick with Barclays Blue Rewards because of this feature, it is not a reason to have Blue Rewards. If anything, there is no reason to pay for it. Even the Apple TV, I don't think is worth paying for it for. But if you are determined to stick with Blue Rewards, then that is obviously something to keep an eye out for. Make sure you've got the email notifications turned on. They're your offers. Let's get on to the news. And there are some biggies here. Now, we have obviously covered them already over on becleverwithyourcash.com. And that as soon as they happen, we let them know that. So if you don't want to wait every time for these monthly updates of what's going on, then make sure you do sign up for our newsletter, becleverwithyourcash.com/newsletter. It's free. It's now twice a week, Monday and Thursday. So you can keep on top of things when they happen. Or, of course, you can just wait for these updates at the start of each month. So the first bit of big news relates to the Halifax Reward current account. You all know I'm a big fan of this one because it gives you cold hard cash every single month. £5 a month, that's 60 quid a year. And you can have 3 of these. So that's 180 quid a year you potentially be getting from this account. That's what I've been making for the last few years on it. A little bit of admin, yes, but nothing too tricky, too difficult. Well, sadly, it's going to end. Or at least it's going to end in its current form. From the end of September, you will no longer be able to earn that £5 cinema ticket or whatever else you might have chosen as your monthly perk. That will end. In fact, it could end earlier because you might recall with this account, when you choose a reward, it lasts for 12 months and then you need to renew it for another 12 months or change it, whatever you want to do. You won't be able to renew it after the 17th of June this summer. I actually have one of these accounts that's due to be renewed in July, which means I won't be able to renew that, which means I won't get the reward in August or September. And my other one of those is going to end in August, which means I won't get that reward for September, which means that just that last account, I've got that third account, will get me that money in September. So this is sad news all around. Now, there will be a replacement. We don't know what that's going to be yet. Hopefully, it will be a decent one. I can't imagine it's going to be as good. But they'll tell us in July, and I will let you know as soon as I hear about it. Halifax say the reason they're making this change is because the vast majority of customers didn't qualify each month for the reward. So potentially it's something that can be easier to get with less admin. But I would imagine as a result, if it's easier to get, then it will also be less lucrative. Moving on to Santander, another change here. They are axing the debit card cashback on the Edge and Edge Up current accounts. This will finish on the 9th of September 2025. Now, this is 1% back on groceries and travel spending. There is a cap with the Edge of £10 a month, with the Edge Up of £15 a month. Now, previously I've been about, well, what's the point of this card in lots of ways, because you could beat it elsewhere. Obviously, a few months ago, Chase changed their cashback to be similar to the Edge one. And again, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. So broadly speaking, I don't think it's going to impact too many of you because hopefully you're using a different cashback card. And obviously, we've got a full list of the best cashback debit and credit cards over at becleverwithyourcash.com. And I did cover this just not too long ago here as well. But sadly, yeah, that is going to be the case there. Obviously, if you new customers obviously won't be taking advantage of this either. There's nothing coming through to replace it. They're just getting rid of this as a feature. The fee will stay the same. And sticking with Santander, this is breaking news that only came through quite late on Wednesday. This is relating to existing 123 Lite current accounts. Now, you might remember the Santander 123 and the 123 Lite accounts were the precursors, the ones that came before the Edge and the Edge Up. And they were better accounts in lots of ways because the fees were less and the cashback rates were higher. Well, they closed down when they launched the Edge and the Edge Up nearly 3 years ago in sort of September of 2022. But existing customers could keep these accounts open and continue to earn those higher rates of cashback. So for me, for example, I had the 123 Lite. I always felt the Lite was better than the full 123 because it was cheaper. I've been earning up to 3% cashback on my bills. That will be changing for the 123 Lite. Only for that one. The 123, if you got that, you'll be able to carry on earning with that one. What's going to happen on the 21st of August is if you have a 123 Lite, it will be swapped into an everyday account, Santander everyday account. So that means you will not be earning cashback anymore on this account, but you'll also not be paying a fee anymore. It's their basic bog standard free account. Your sort code and account number, that won't change. Your debit card probably won't change either. All those things will stay exactly the same. So you won't need to worry as part of this transfer. Nothing bad's going to happen. Like you're not suddenly going to have money in and out, not happening. It'll still go on that way. Obviously, you will miss out on that cashback. So what do you do about it? What are your options? Now, I have written a whole article with some initial analysis on this. You can find that over on becleveryourcash.com if you want to look at it. You've got a few options. You could transfer this 123 Lite, or when it's transferred into an everyday, do it then, into an edge or an edge up. I certainly would be going for the edge over the edge up because it's cheaper. And again, I don't think the edge up for the additional fee gives you any benefits. Basically, what it does is it gives you some an interest rate on savings, but you can beat that by saving elsewhere. Remember, becleverwithyourcash.com/savings. It's where we list all the top savings rates. So I'd be looking at the edge only for this. The difference is, whereas with the 123 Lite, you're getting tiered cashback, so 1% on some bills, 2% on some bills, 3% on your water bills. This is just a flat 1% across all your bills. So you will get less back in cashback, and the fee is also higher. It's an extra £1 more. So I had a very quick look. These actually are figures from a year ago when I did the full comparison. So obviously my bills have changed slightly, but I would be looking at a change here of currently with the 123 Lite, I'm earning around sort of 80 quid a year. If I move to the edge for my bills, I'm looking at maybe around 30 quid a year. So it's a big difference, 50 quid a year. And obviously over year on year, that obviously adds up over the time I've had that account. Of course, the Edge does have another benefit, is you can access the Edge Saver account through that, which you open it separately, but you get 6% interest for 1 year on balances of up to £4,000. And that is one of the best savings rates out there. So I certainly would suggest that is something to think about rather than just keeping the everyday account and having your bills coming through it. If you don't like the idea of that, or you can do a calculator on the Santander website to see exactly how much cashback you're going to get. If that doesn't cover the fee, it's probably not worth it. Then you might want to take advantage of some of those switch offers that I shared before and just switch your bank completely, get that free cash from a different bank. And obviously in your bills, you won't be earning on them, but at least you would have had that switch in cash come through. There is also another change to tell you about with some fees with a couple of accounts. I've covered this one before, the Club Lloyds one. Just a reminder here, the £3 monthly fee since the start of June has increased to £5 a month. Sounds expensive, but don't forget, you can completely wipe that out as long as you put £2,000 into that account every single month. And that's really easy to do, because even if you don't have a lump sum, you can do it in smaller amounts. So you can put 500 quid in, that same 500 quid, you can take it out, then put it back in, take it out 4 times, or however you want to mix up. The money doesn't have to stay in there, it doesn't have to be in lump sum. So no one should be paying a fee on this Club Lloyds as long as you remember to do this. And you obviously can automate it or do it manually, whatever's best for you. It's well worth doing it. With those changes to the Halifax Reward account I mentioned, this is now my top reward account out there, because you get that free year of Disney Plus with adverts, or you get 6 cinema tickets for very, very, very little effort. So it's worth doing it just for those freebies. The other fee increase to tell you about is from the Cooperative Everyday Extra account. This is their packaged bank account. The 1st of July, that's going to increase from £15 a month to £18 a month. Now, we saw already increases to some other, the Nationwide and the Lloyds and the Halifax and the NatWest, all increased the fees on their insurance packaged accounts in the last sort of 6 months or so. So really, this is kind of more and more of a going rate right now. The Virgin Money one is still at £12.50. I wouldn't be surprised if that one at some point also follows suit and increases prices. But we have got a whole guide to the best packaged bank accounts on the site. And I'm sure we'll do maybe an update on the podcast and YouTube at some point this summer to what actually is going on now. Okay, quick news about bank closures. It's just been announced this week that NatWest are going to close 55 branches this year. 55 more branches, I should say, because they've already announced a number of closures. Meanwhile, though, Barclays said they will not close any more branches in 2025 and 2026, which is good news, although they have already shut a huge number of banks already this year and in the previous years before that. But good news, at least no more Barclays closures over the next 18 months or so. Some new features to share with you. Starling has launched an AI feature to analyze your spending. You have to update the app to see this. And in the spending tab, you can go in and it prompts some questions. So how much did I spend on entertainment this year and things like that, which does bring up some results and bring that all together, which is quite good, though, and displays them from your account. I tried a bit more searching in there and it didn't seem to do much, but it's an early iteration, an interesting way in terms of how things might be moving and might be quite useful considering we've seen the demise of so many of those budgeting apps out there. Meanwhile, Monzo has introduced a new feature, which is an undo payments. Now, if you've ever been that thing where you've accidentally typed in the wrong amount, or maybe you've sent it to the wrong person and you realise just after you've sent it, obviously you realise later this still won't help you, but just after you send it with Monzo, you can set a timer now for 15, 30 or 60 seconds before it goes through where you can cancel it. You can also turn it off completely, so it's not that you can't undo this feature. But Monzo, again, always adding new things in, trying to stay ahead of the curve of many of the other apps out there. Whether you use these features is another matter, but I do like the things that Starling and Monzo are doing. And very quickly, I want to talk about a couple of new accounts that might be worth looking at. The first one is from Yonder. You might be familiar with Yonder as a rewards credit card provider. You see the adverts all over the tube saying you spend them how you want, unlike airline points and things like that. I think it's probably slightly misleading in how they promote those, but fair enough. There's a lot of them out there. Well, they've just launched a debit card. So this is not a current account, but it is a reward debit card. So you won't be able to do things like pay bills out of it and stuff, but you can use it for spending. You earn 1 point for every £1 that you spend on the free card, or 5 points for every £1 that you spend on the £15 a month card. Though that one does also come with travel insurance and 10,000 bonus points. Now, it all sounds good, but what are these points actually worth? And it's not crystal clear. There's no set amount, although broadly speaking, you'd expect the free card to be offering you equivalent of 0.5%, and the paid card the equivalent of 2.5%. At least that's what Yonder claim. The problem is those points, you can only use them on set experiences, which tend to be restaurants, meals, but there are a few other things in there now as well. They're mainly in London, but they have expanded to a few other cities, including Manchester and Bristol. So you basically earn these points up and you can use them on a meal. I'm not convinced why you would go down this route rather than getting pure hard cash from the likes of 1% from the Amex Nectar credit card, or at the moment 1% with Trading 212. But even if that does drop down from that short-term promotion to 0.5%, then that's still money you can spend whenever you want, however you want. Of course, if you are talking about travel insurance and packaged accounts, you might want to look at the more expensive one, the paid version, and earn more points, which then could be potentially quite lucrative. But I still think at 15 quid a month for the travel insurance, you're going to have better options from different packaged accounts out there, which might offer more for a similar amount of money. And the other new account to tell you about is from Lloyds. It's another one of those premier accounts. So I mentioned those before, the HSBC and Barclays ones with switching deals. This one doesn't have anything like that. But if you can pay in £5,000 a month or save £100,000 with Lloyds, then you'll be eligible for their new Lloyds Premium Current Account. It is £15 a month, but it's waived if you meet that criteria. So as long as you're continuing to have that amount saved or that salary coming in, you won't pay that fee. And basically, it's the Club Lloyds account with a couple of extras in there. So yes, you get that lifestyle benefit such as Disney Plus or the 6 Odeon or View Cinema tickets. But in addition, you get 1% cash back on your spending, capped at £10 a month, which is decent. Although I would say, again, you can get that from other options right now. So really what you're paying for here, or reason you're opening this account, is you also get a Bupa Family GP and Wellbeing subscription. Now, this is not full Bupa health insurance. It's a sort of a limited version. So it includes like GP appointments, although you'd have to pay for your own prescriptions because they will not be NHS prescriptions, 6 physio sessions a year and 14 counselling sessions a year. There's a few other bits and pieces there. But if you are a high earner and you're interested in that, then it's certainly worth a look. Finally, I just want to tell you about something fun we're doing over in our Facebook group and in our YouTube community, or the YouTube posts tab. And it is a current account World Cup tournament. Basically, I've selected the top 12 current accounts out there. I've ignored a lot of the ones that don't give you anything at all and put them into little groups so you guys can vote for which one you like best out of each of those groups, which will then move on to semi-finals and then to a final. Now, it's already started the voting on this. And I can tell you that the first group of Club Lloyds, Nationwide Flex Direct and the Santander Edge, the winner was the Nationwide Flex Direct accounts. They are the first group through to the first semi-final. And then the second round, the winner was Starling beating Crew and NatWest Rewards. So the first semi-final is going to be Nationwide Flex Direct versus Starling. You can still vote right now in the next group. So we have got Monzo, Halifax Reward and Triodos. The voting on that one will end on Friday, the 13th of June. And then the new poll will start on that day for the final group, which is Chase, Revolut and First Direct. And then after that, we'll have the semi-finals and then the final. So if you do want to join in, so just a bit of fun, but it's a nice way to kind of look at which account is best. Please do join us. becleverwithyourcash.com/community will take you through to the YouTube channel, or just hit that post tab here in YouTube. And we will reveal the results in our Cash Chats podcast every single Tuesday. My name's Andy Webb. Thanks so much for watching. Check out these videos here for more ways to make the most of your money.